Hi there, Dr. Keith and
Dr. Helen.
And we are from Master Vitality, which is our virtual consultation business. But if you would like to see us face to face, we do have a brick and mortar business called Blue Indigo Spa and Wellness that's located in Valrico, Florida, which is about 20 minutes away from downtown Tampa Bay in Florida. So today's going to be a little bit different than our usual topic or series that we do discuss because we're all about being fit and healthy. But more importantly, we had a few people reach out to us and asking us, because they know through our biographies we've been married for over 20 years. And the biggest key question they always ask is, how do we get along as couples and how did we start? Even though we've been married for over 22 years, we've been business partners for, I would say, almost 15 years, Helen?
16
years.
Yeah.
So we wanted to share some of our ways and how we communicate. And it's not all rosy, it's not all pretty. Sometimes we have bursts.
Moments,
as she explained. So we picked out some of the questions that we have, and I wanted to share some of that. And so I'll start first. So the first question is, Helen, or Dr. Helen, you see, you got to give that respect first of all. What do you believe are the key ingredients for building and maintaining a healthy relationship between married couples? Now, it doesn't have to be married, it can also be just regular couples, because that just applies.
Well, I think the main important of a strong relationship is that you have open communication and true communication. And it doesn't matter if it's a couple relationship or any relationship you have. I think the fact that you can openly be truthful with each other and communicate effectively and nicely with each other, I think we get to a point where there's more resolution and there's more, how can I say that? There's more respect in the relationship. What do you think about that, Dr. Keith?
Yeah, I agree. There's been ups and downs in a relationship, but it's ultimately getting to understand each other and set boundaries for each other as well. Everybody is going to be different how they set their standards when they see each other as a couple. But I firmly believe if there's a mutual understanding between the two, whether we wanted to work together, become business partner, or whether I work corporate and then my wife does a different position, I think, we don't take the work home, just set that apart from each other, right? And there's time and there needs to be balance as well. So I don't know if I answered the questions completely, but it's always going to be moving, you know what I mean? You gotta sort of go with the flow, read between the lines and see what that moment entails. Sometimes you can't talk about it because you gotta give it some time as well too.
I think compromise is also important in a relationship, right?
Okay, which leads us to the next question.
Okay, can you share some strategies or techniques couple can use to resolve conflicts or disagreement in a healthy and constructive manner?
I always think in a relationship is day by day by day. And what I mean by that is, yeah, it is a long-term relationship, but don't drag that conflict or any issues the next day because it's over, right? You don't want to drag it into it, and you don't want to blame anybody for anything. You take accountability. That's some of my strategies, and you got to give it time. You got to listen, and you got to give. And when I mean time to integrate, and maybe time to heal as well, and for understanding. I think both parties needs to be clear on the communications and talk to each other out, right? I think it's very dangerous is when one of the couples start to not reply or give comments or give feedback or just simply walk away. I think that becomes dangerous in a relationship.
I agree. I think that having the ability to dialogue with each other, which once again goes back to our first conversation of communication, is so important because without us communicating, I can't read his mind and he can't read my mind. And having that chance for each other to really truly dialogue and giving each other that opportunity and a chance to speak up and listening to each other and respecting each other is key.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. So, question number 3 in regarding to build a healthy relationship between couples or married couples. In your opinion, what are some of the common pitfalls or challenges that married couples face, and how can they overcome them to maintain a healthy relationship?
That's a good question, Dr. Keith. Life is complicated. We are husband and wife, we are business partner, we are parents, and we have a lot of demand and expectation from us. So sometimes I think the importance of remembering that you're still in a love relationship and keeping that spark and having the ability to still not forget that I am still kind of a girlfriend to him, and that is important to keep, and without that spark you can't maintain that relationship. So I think it's very healthy that we acknowledge our anniversary, acknowledge our birthdays, acknowledge the fact that we need date nights, and just having
sex nights, don't forget that.
and I think yes, and that is so important to keep in a relationship, because without that you lose that sense of truly of love relationship.
That's why it's called love making, not banging or not, it's love making.
What about you, Dr. Keith, other than that love making?
That's a guy's top of mind, I think, I believe. I speak for myself. But there has to be balance. Some other common pitfalls or challenges, I think, is the way social media or these, I call it stupid documentaries or sitcoms about what married life should be, like when you're watching Beverly Hills in, I don't know, Dubai or Los Angeles and all that sort of stuff. They just have this level of expectation, right? And I really believe we get inundated and sort of be subconsciously programmed through these video shows that it starts to become sort of the norm and standard. But when in actuality, we have 9-to-5 jobs, we have expectation, we have family and everything else that plays. And I just really believe that, there's that stigma out there of what a happy and loving relationship should be, but in actuality, it's what makes us happy or what makes you happy between the two of you. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be materialistic. It shouldn't be materialistic. It should just be a matter of, because love is a feeling. And as they all say, money can't buy that. Money can buy convenience, but it's not the kind of the feeling that you have. Yeah, we both have ups and downs, whether it's financial stress, peer pressure stress, work stress, but there needs to be a balance. So just recognize, as my wife would say, Helen would say, or Dr. Helen would say, is to acknowledge and remember at that time, why did you guys have that spark in the first place? Because there was that love. So yeah.
And keeping it, it's important, and making it hot all the time, right? All right, Dr. Keith, how do you recommend couples prioritize self-care and nurture their own well-being while also prioritizing the health of their relationship?
First things first is like, you ever heard that terminology when you're on an airplane, you put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you put it on others? And I think, personally speaking, that's a very backward mentality where other people will put the mask on first before they put it on themselves. Self-care, you being number one, is the most important thing, because you have to be able to bring balance to your mind, body, as well as your spirit. Otherwise, things that will bother you or disrupt you or disturb you will blow it out to your other half. And I've seen that many, many times. So self-care is very important, because if you have stress that's built inside of you, you have to be able to let it out. Whether it's from working out, doing breath work, doing yoga, you find whatever works for you or works for me. That's the way I really believe. Some people would also go for massages or acupuncture, as a means for doing that, because a healthy relationship means that I have to be healthy inside as well as outside. What do you think?
Well, self-care is so important because that brings the whole mind-body concept of connecting to yourself. And if you can't take care of yourself or do what you need to do to calm yourself down, and you know how it is, we like to give crap to our loved ones, and that's just the way it is.
I'm the punching bag.
It's a human nature way of dealing with things, because who else are you going to really give shit to? You can't do that with a stranger. You can't do that with a stranger. So it's a natural thing that you do that, and you bring it home and you give it to your family and you give it to your loved one, because the loved ones are the easiest target to be able to take in and be able to take you, basically, right? So I think self-care allows us to really think of getting that moment for ourselves, and that moment to breathe, and that moment to meditate and think thoroughly, or that moment to just be at the gym and be in your space. And we all need our space. Then once that we have our space, we can give more to our loved one. And I think that's extremely important with self-care.
Yep, I believe that's very, very important. So, well, thank you very much. This was profound and insightful. This is, talking to each other. We often do this off camera, not on camera, but we figure we want to share our insights and ideas and how we communicate with each other as well. So thank you for tuning in. This is Dr. Keith and Dr. Helen from Master Vitality, which is our virtual consultation business, or Blue Indigo Spa and Wellness, which is our physical brick and mortar presence. Need a favor from you, please like and subscribe and leave a comment as well for further helps and tips in regarding building a healthy relationship, or trying to be healthier, or just want to inspire yourself and grab that spark. So thank you again. You have a wonderful day.